This old guy DIY video has to do with troubleshooting a 2004 23 horsepower Kohler Command motor that's on a riding lawnmower made by Aaron's. So the issue was, after an hour or an hour and a half of driving, the thing would start backfiring and sound like it was going to die. I had to put the choke on and then it would run again. So initially I thought my issue was an ignition coil, but upon further review, the issue was actually that I was running out of fuel and I had bad fuel filters on both sides, and one fuel line is 6 inches shorter than the other. So if you'd like to hear the rest of the story, please watch the remainder of the video. And if not, my advice is check your fuel lines and fuel filter if you have the situation I did before you start buying coils. Thank you for watching. This old guy DIY video has to do with troubleshooting an Aaron's 2352 Zoom zero-turn mower with a Kohler 23 horse on it. And this engine is from about 2004, so it's 20 years old. And it has 556 hours on it today. So since I replaced the head gaskets on this thing, it runs great. But after about an hour or an hour and a half, all of a sudden the engine will start stumbling and I have to put the choke on, and then it'll keep running fine. But if I take the choke off, it shuts off. So my first thought was 20 years old, happens when it gets hot, I probably have bad coils. But before I reached for the coils, I stopped and checked the fuel system. And this thing has 2 saddle tanks. And I mean, you can see there's fuel in there, but the fuel goes all the way down to here. And to remove this, to check it, you just kind of grab this piece at the grommet, pull that out, and then you can bring this up, able to get the filter right here and actually pull it out of the tank. When I pulled this filter out, I found it's a different style than the other side. And this one had a bunch of grass and gunk hanging on the side. It almost looked like a marine experiment. So I cleaned that crap off and put it back where it belongs. But the other thing I noticed, if you look at the length of this one, it's about 10 inches shorter than the other side. With this much length, my fuel pickup is only down about here. So any fuel that's down in this area, I can't utilize anyway. With the line pulled out on both sides, I measured. This one is 20 inches long. This one is 26 inches long. What I found is this one had an old inline fuel filter on it that kind of looked like that, but it was filled with gunk. And I disposed of it before I decided to make this video. So I replaced it with this type of inline filter, but with the other side being 6 inches short and filled with gunk, and this one being the proper length and filled with gunk, where I suspected my problem was that I had driven for an hour and a half, and the engine was getting hot and I had a coil problem, so I wasn't getting good ignition. I believe the issue was I didn't have a steady fuel supply, because in the course of an hour and a half, you burn quite a bit of fuel. And if I didn't start with completely full tanks, and particularly my problem would happen when I was going up a hill. So you put all that together, and I believe my issue was fuel flow as opposed to an electronic problem. So I cut once after I made this observation. I'll keep cutting, see if this resolved the issue. But the moral of the story is check your fuel lines and check your fuel filters before starting to tear the engine apart. If you cut for an hour and a half, and then your engine starts to backfire and has low power, you have to go over to that side, put the choke on, and then it continues to run. I hope this little video helped you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.